Remember, Chief Charles was very, very strong on this topic on the day we discussed it. That was when our own Mr. Eventuarry went to Nigeria for a show. We were in the studio talking about his sustenance and how best he can also do something to make sure that he will do more in the entertainment industry. Finally, we've seen him in the series of Makola and Kejetia, or Kejetia Vrs Makola rather. Kejetia Vrs Makola. We finally seen him, and after his act, I have seen so many commentary. Some people are not cool. They think, oh wow, and in the studio, I want us to also listen to his act. Maybe we can even watch it in the studio. It is available on the Laser Legacy Productions page on Facebook. So if you are a friend to the page, you can also go there and see it for yourself, for you to be part of the discussion. Mr. Eventuarry has landed a role in the Kejetia Vrs Makola series, and we are coming to analyze his first act, his strength and weaknesses here in the studio. Remember, this is still Showbiz Agenda. My name is Sammy Flex, and I'm here with Arnold Mason, Levanya Vibes in 5, Link Up Reloaded, Chief Charles, your favorite gospel artist and your favorite MC as well. Dada Half Go High Life artists. We're going for his Anna. Kejetia News will be there with all their cameras for us to receive the trophy. And Kejetia himself is also here, and I know you are part of the show. So have you seen the video, the trailer on social media already? Do you think Mr. Eventuarry performed well, and therefore he can stand the test of time in the series produced by Laser Legacy Productions? That is Kejetia Vrs Makola. DJ Sticker has the audio for us. Let's listen to it, and when we come back, we will discuss this. Please listen and listen attentively. Good morning.
Yeah.
Shatta Wale, and of course we have listened to the audio version of Mr. Eventuarry's feature in the series Kejetia Vrs Makola, and I want us to come to the studio to discuss this, his efforts, whether it is acceptable or not. But I'm not comfortable with the first tweet from Senior Mampam, who is saying that, Sammy, after watching it yesterday, I think it was a miss. I couldn't even watch all. It was annoying watching the thing. I think the standard set by Loyalty is very high. This is a no for me. This is what Senior Mampam thinks. Maybe you have a different opinion. Feel free and share that with us on Twitter at Xylophone1021, at Xylophone1021 with the hashtag Showbiz Agenda. Give me a mention at Sammy Flex. And Kejetia, come and let me start this with you. I know that you are very, very much interested in this. Mr. Eventuarry finally landing a role in Kejetia Vrs Makola. Let's look at his performance. Let's analyze his performance. Was it good or bad, boss?
It was good.
It was good, huh?
Yeah, it was good. I've taken my time to watch it. And,
okay.
Yes, that wasn't his space. I mean, we all know where he came from. And so for him to, get the opportunity to be on Kejetia and also acted to that perfection, I think this is the first attempt. And it's good. I think that we have to encourage him to do more. He said, going.
Does it mean when someone says it is not good, then they are discouraging him?
Okay, for me, I think that we should also give more. We should give room to, pushing people. At least for the benefit of the doubt, that this is his first time. So let's just accept. So, oh, Charlie, wait, why are there? Because the space where he is different from Diana or Tenekamano, It's a different environment altogether. So for him to come on such platform, and this is very huge. So it means that whoever coached him to get on this level, amazing. But I have a big problem with talent management in this country.
Okay.
In as much as that is fabulous, is good, and we are all roots and say, oh yeah, you're good. I don't have the day. They say, and Chena. Baby, and we've had the likes of 2000 and all. Even with the current guy, Shatabando. If Nanka, let's say,
but
then it can because also it was discovered on the internet. Internet.
But he wasn't discovered based on any special talent.
To say
Jimmy, but on also level, no.
Well, so I think that let's have a system where we have talent management. say bia bibi saba we have people between the omo question and yes say bia obi ti ne baby office o scantino he can invest in someone who just come out into no na odinichi sa, and that is what happen all the time. Obi ba bon no good pe na say obi investor bi or this cat the ho, but on you good in management. No, this kind of the now I'm the new be any consume the new. So I think that let's have a better management who will help talents like him. I mean, he's a so let's guide him, and I wish him all the best.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kejetia. He thinks that he was on point. Now let me go on to Twitter once again, where Kennedy Kendall of Kofi the Macho Man, aka Monster something Jim, is there. He says, "I think Mr. Eventuarry killed it, and he even sounds better than the other guys." Okay, opinions, obviously. That I have go. Next on the MIC, Mr. Eventuarry landing that role. What do you think were his strengths and weaknesses?
Yes, I mean, he's obviously somebody I really don't follow.
Okay.
So when he broke out on the internet, I had not even seen one of his skits.
Okay.
Until I started, trying to find out some about it. So I'm not a follower of him, but I'm going to speak based on what you played.
Exactly.
I think it sounds good. There are a lot of people who die and go to their grave without realizing their talents. Even some of us, this may not be the job we're supposed to do. Maybe with time we may find out what
we may discover ourselves.
Exactly. So maybe whoever had the eye to bring him on this ship may have discovered well. The person may have seen from afar that, okay, this guy, he has something, and the person brought him on and he's delivering. Because based on what you played, it's like I'm not seeing the gestures because it's just an audio, but in my head I'm picturing him with the voice, and I think it sounds very, very good in my ears because it's funny. And some of the words that he pronounces, you might think that he has rehearsed them over and over and over, so that he will be able to pronounce them like that. But I think it's his nature. It's the way he because
goes about it.
Exactly, because his English is not all that good, so he finds his own way to put. The way Santo used to be. He had his own way of doing his pronunciations. And I think this guy is doing exactly that. Maybe we should encourage him the more rather than discouraging him, because when people break out on the internet, they get put away soon, simply because most of them are not up to the minute. They don't have the talent that much, and it's just a spare of the moment where people just see and it's funny, and then everybody think they have the talent. But this guy, looking at him going to Nigeria, winning some applause and stuff like that, and coming back and earning himself this role, I think maybe he's been built for it. And so what we can do is support him and urge him on, because the people who even learn on the job, most of us, we get into institutions that we haven't schooled or have degrees for. Once we are on it, we start learning. So he will need a better coach. Once he gets a better coach, maybe he will end up becoming one of the best comedians on our screens. Whoever knows. So
I have this challenge. For instance, when we know that the whole series was started by some people, and therefore the yardstick has been their standard, the measurement has been their standard. When he comes in, like Senior Mampam is saying that he's nowhere closer to loyalty, how do we also marry that?
You see, that would always come up. Have you seen Power? It will always come up, Sammy. Have you seen the series Power, 50 Cent Power? All the seasons had the song by Joe. The season 6 came with Trey Songz. The song was done by Trey Songz and 50. And people have bashed him, son. Bring the original. But me, I enjoy the new one. I enjoy the new song. And a couple of people do. So when something is done at a certain standard, people get glued to it. People get stuck to it. So when you want to change it, people find difficult. And especially in Ghana, people don't like change. In Ghana, people don't like change. You can be a good artist as Michael Jackson. Once you came out from a group, people want the group to be there. Immediately you go solo, you may be good, but people don't like the change. So those things they are expected to come. People would always come with those criticism. On match, he is below the standard set. But he has his own that he could actually bring to the table. So for me, I think we can overlook that. I mean, people have different taste and different ways of seeing things and different eyes and all that. But for me, I think once we allow him to sink in, it will get to a point that people realize, oh, guy, a good power. And it happens. So I mean, we should allow him to go. Let's give him encouragement. The handlers should find him a better coach, so that going forward he will get better. I mean, he can only get better. So I feel that's what I think.
All right, thank you so much, Dada Havko. Once again, let me go on to Twitter to read some more tweets. Tilia Kuyanipa says acting is not easy, especially improvisation, and most of all debuting with professionals. He did well, and let's see what God has for him too. All right, thank you. Now, Kwesi Omega also says, Brasami, I think as time goes on, he will be better. He should try to be more of himself. He's just trying to copy Lawyer Inti, and copy ni there sesane rule ni tiento so yes send ne ba ko ne na Star Shine KL says Brasami, the man no get talent. And Kojoga Fuego says Brasami, speaking bad but funny English is way different from acting. I don't think he's cut out for Kejetia Vrs Makola. Loyalty was funny but had the intelligence of a lawyer. And Opoku Isaac Benefo says there is room, so let's wait for some time.
I've listened from here.
Okay.
I know Eventuarry, but I'm not a staunch follower of Eventuarry. I've heard what he's done, which you just played, but I think he's trying to sound like Inti.
Which is the character?
No.
Oh, that's the character.
No, because if it's the character, when Clemento came, Clemento would also want to sound like Inti. Even though they all speak bad English, you had a difference between the two characters. When you hear Loyalty and the way he goes about his bad English and his antics, you see that this is Inti. If you see Clemento Suarez, even though he's also doing the bad English stuff, you see that this is his style as well. I think Eventuarry can do well, but he has to be original. He has to create a style that will be distinct, that you wouldn't have to listen and be like, okay, he's trying to sound like him, he's trying to, his pauses, we have something we call in acting thought pauses. All those things, you feel Inti in it. It could probably be because we've seen Inti more than we're seeing Eventuarry now. But yes, because we've seen him more, any attempt to sound like him, we'll know. Because we know how he sounds and how he does his acting. So I believe he could be good, because it's not even easy trying to sound like someone and actually getting it right. Which means that if he is coached well and directed well, he could have his own original stuff going on, and he will be able to stick to that originality. What makes you stand out is originality. I mean, and not sounding like someone else. You'll be doing the job, but you always be taking people's minds to the person they are not seeing, and it's not going to do you any good, because you want to be known, you want to represent something. So if whatever you do is making us go back to give the glory to the person who is not even acting at the moment, then you are working for him. You should be working for yourself. So he should create a style that he's going to stick to. The umbrella style is that speak bad English. But in speaking bad English, you could have styles within it, where Clemento will have his, Inti will have his, and you eventually will also have your own going on. So first attempt, okay for me, but I think he has more room for improvement.
If he's not able to fit into the role eventually, what will happen to his image, the brand after that?
Nothing. I mean, he shouldn't be crucified because he couldn't fit into a certain role. There are 1,001 roles in acting. I mean, he could be tried, unless he wants to be typecast, where he would have to always do the same thing. I understand he's a comedian. He has his way of going about his comedy. Maybe a director could bring the best out of him. A director could cast him for a certain role that will best fit him. So if he's unable to deliver on this one, that shouldn't be his end, and we shouldn't also label him or throw him away because he didn't deliver in Kejetia. He should be tried and put on other opportunities, given other opportunities on different sets, maybe still in the comedy line, and see where he will eventually click and do well. I mean, Kofi Asama could give him a try in any of these his comedy movies, and Peter Sedufia, all these guys who are doing movies that has to do with comedy, they could try him in some of these roles. But if he doesn't deliver here, doesn't mean he's not good an actor. He could fit somewhere. There's always a role for someone. Yeah.
And again, could it be that where they brought him to, the level was so high for him, he should have started from another angle, and slowly he will get there?
True, there are levels. I mean, especially if you haven't done the work for a very long time. Whatever people do over time, they become very experienced and they deliver effortlessly. It's just like bringing a new guy who you've seen presenting talent in, and then you put him in the leagues of the Kwame Sefa and co. No matter how good he is, his newness will be felt. You can't run away from that. Experience will beat him. Yes, experience will beat him. So the fact that he probably will not fit in well here doesn't mean that he can't fit in if he's trained. The word is training, and then gradually he'll get the experience, and he could be doing better somewhere else. It shouldn't just be about Makola and Kejetia and how do you go. It shouldn't just be there. He shouldn't be crucified because he didn't live up to expectation in this one. I have said he is good and he has more room for improvement, and so whoever is going to direct him should also have time for him. He's still a fresh talent. He's a new act, and those people need a lot of time for them to get exactly what you want. Maybe for all we know, the director is satisfied with him. The director could be satisfied with him, but as a viewer or as audience, we would all have our various meanings and our various rate card for him. I think he's good. Somebody thinks he's excellent. Somebody thinks he's so bad. So let's try him on other projects, and eventually, if he's that good, we'll know. If he's bad too, we'll know. But it will take several other projects to determine whether the guy really is cut for what he's doing. Let other directors give him the opportunity. For now, it will be unfair to judge him solely based on his delivery in Makola and Kejetia.
Especially being the first.
Yes. It will be so unfair. However, he should be discussed and talked about, so we'll know where he fell short, where he did well, where he should improve, where he should tighten, so that it will help him to move forward and in other productions that he will find himself on.
Okay, thank you, Arnold Mason Levanyo. Once again, your tweet. We are doing this to make sure our brother Mr. Eventuarry is finally settled, and Sosket is here on Twitter. He says, Sammy, Eventuarry needs more polishing in acting, because saying funny stuff is different from acting. The same funny stuff you say, he will pick up only if he wants to. And Arthur Eric Kafui says, I'm not sure this guy will last long, Sammy. Showbiz agenda is on. Now, Doniari says, my boss, Mr. Eventuarry did well, but Shatabando level is like G8 to pack. Edwin Morgan says, Sammy, I think this is the start, so let's give him more chance and see how far the end will be. Thank you. Mr. Eventuarry.
Yeah, Mr. Eventuarry.
Have you seen the video?
I haven't seen the video.
Oh, you guys, you have internet. When we say just watch.
I haven't seen the video.
Okay.
But I have heard the audio.
Okay.
As you played. But one doesn't necessarily have to see the audio to assess his performance, because what he broke was basically the mispronunciation and massacre of the English language. She's Eventuarry, and you don't know why it's going on. This was what broke him, and so I think that, contrary to what Arnold said, I think he's being himself, because this is what we've known him for. Obviously, Loyanti also speaks with that broken English, and his R and his L's are all over the place, just like Mr. Eventuarry. So I think they are cast in the same light. That may be the reason why he may be seeing similarities, and obviously because Mr. Inti is in his face or everybody's face, we may think that he's trying to mimic or imitate Inti. I don't think so at all. So I'm going to do a SWOT analysis on him. I'll do his strength, I'll do his weaknesses, his opportunities, and his threats. Now, I believe that his strength, assessing him is his laughter. I think he has a very unique laughter that will infest you. He has a contagious laughter. Because as soon as he opens his mouth and does his laughter thing, you have no choice but to grind or smile or laugh along.
Did you enjoy more of that in the few minutes we played?
Yes, I had a couple of them. And actually, they were the lighting moments for me. They were the ones that actually, yes, caught my attention. I think his laughter is his strength. And if he can focus on it and find ways of channeling his laughter at any given point, at any given time. I know what I've always said has an 18 character good laughter. Once he laughs, you can't but laugh along. I think he has that as a strength. His opportunity, yes, I believe with the way he speaks the English language, and as a lawyer, the whole Kejetia and Makola thing is a cause of public confusion. People come and they speak bad English, they confuse the judge, confuse everyone else, and that's what gets everybody laughing. Is he able to do that? I think he can. With the way he tries to explain issues, with the pictures he uses, with the picture of words he tries to use, eventually confusing everybody and getting everybody laughing. Is that not the mainstay of the show? That is the mainstay of the show. Makola and Kejetia is to get people laughing. How do they get people laughing? By the various lawyers representing their various clients or clients, speaking bad English and getting everybody laughing. It is an opportunity for him. He says Eventuarry. You don't know why it's going on. And a good script writer can develop many of such things for him that can, get people laughing. I don't know what I can easily attribute to Loyalty, with the exception of the fact that every word he uses that has an R, he exchange it for L and so on and so forth. I don't know what I can say, or I don't know which word I can particularly attribute to Loyalty as compared to Mr. Eventuarry. His name itself is Mr. Eventuarry, so he has a word attributed to him, and that can eventually get you laughing. So his Eventuarry, you don't know why he's going on. His laughter are his opportunities beyond what Inti is doing. I believe if he's given enough opportunity to star in many or to feature in many of the things he's doing, and with a good script writer, he can even outshine Inti.
Really?
He can. He has the capacity.
I see.
If a good script writer can dig enough into him, he can, with time, he can outshine him. Threats. If he would himself work on himself as a person, because even though I haven't seen the video, people are complaining about the acting. There are two different things here. In fact, the way he speaks and his acting prowess. Maybe his mannerisms at the courts, maybe excessive look at the cameras and so on and so forth. It may come through that he's jittery or he's confused or something. It may come through, but that within the initial phase will pass. Once he gets comfortable with the camera, once he gets comfortable with the people in the courts, he would come into his own, and I'm sure there's more that he can give out once he's settled and comfortable. I'm remembering the day you gave me the opportunity to sit at the seat where you were sitting, and like I said, I kept wiping my face when there wasn't sweat. When there wasn't sweat.
Maybe you were sweating inside. You were feeling the sweat inside. It wasn't coming out.
Exactly. But once I said a thing or two, I began to be comfortable, and I'm sure if the show had gone on longer, I would be way more comfortable and come into my own. I'll settle down. I believe that he has just taken off. People should give him the chance to settle. I think if he settles, he will really be good at it. So he should give himself time to settle. Weakness. I'm struggling to find a weakness in what he's doing, if there's any. Because I said I'll do a SWOT analysis, and eventually, what may be his weakness if he doesn't give himself the opportunity to learn. If he doesn't give himself the opportunity to learn and come into his character. But for me, he's a winner from day one. Look at where the guy is coming from, and look at how far he has come within this relatively very, very short time. Some people may have attended auditions upon auditions upon audition upon audition, and nothing happens. This guy was just discovered in the taxi rank, and within this short
term. He's going to Nigeria. He's on Kejetia. In fact, the other day I saw him on a billboard, one of the filling stations.
Yeah,
I think Shell or something.
Yeah, Goyle or something.
On a billboard. That's huge. I hope he got paid for it.
Obviously.
So that's huge. The guy is on billboard already. It means that his face is there, and for me, he's a winner. Like I keep saying, and I said from the beginning, it will to a very large extent depend on whoever is coaching, whoever is scripting and characterizing him. But I think he's a winner from the beginning.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief Charles. And I want to read the final messages on Twitter.